Hello everyone, I'm Susan Boback, the card connoisseur, and I welcome you to this demonstration of how to use your copper and beautiful papers in home decor. Now where I'm filming from, my home, it's the most beautiful winter day I've seen in, it seems to be forever. It seems to be days into weeks since we've seen the sun. In 2026, we have had the most amazing winter, and I don't mean amazing awesome. We have had more snow than I can remember in many years. Plus, we've had severe cold weather in January. And where I record from, there are two large windows, one that faces the south and one that faces the east. And unless the light is perfectly right, it's very hard to record without a shadow. And so today I can look out both windows and see the sun just streaming in. I feel like, if you've ever seen a dog or a cat looking for a sunny place in the house and laying down and taking a nap, that's what I want to do. Not lay down and take a nap, but I want to find those sunny spots in my house and just raise my face up to the sun and just bask in that beautiful sun. So as February comes to a close, we here in the upper Midwest are really looking forward to March, because even though Old Man Winter can give us a St. Patrick's Day storm, that means that March is coming to the end of the winter. And even if we do have some of this amount of snow left in April, we know what's coming. It's so opposite of what comes in early October or November. We know what's coming then too. So enough comments about snow. If you've watched me at all, you know that I'm always looking for something to use up my 12 by 12 papers that many of us have stockpiled through the years, or that we just don't want to cut because they're too pretty. But I'm always looking for something to use up the papers, and even more so now in 2026, because Stampin' Up! Will be having three catalogs a year every 4 months, and that means new papers to ooh and ah about and to use in projects. So gather up some of your older papers. I'm going to show you how to use a 12 by 12 or a couple of 12 by 12s in a very creative way to use around your home. And then you can make room for more. So I'm going to show you how to make Kleenex box covers. Now, I'll just backtrack a little and say that when the Cricut craft cutting machine came out, I think it was, I want to say, let's say 20 years ago. I don't remember. Mine was the kind that you needed the cartridges. Although I did continue to craft with it when it went with internet access, but I didn't get into the new, very current icons that are all available on the internet. And so when the Cricut came out, one of the things we made for a gift for our parents or elderly family in nursing home or whatever was to take one of these square Kleenex boxes and to make a designed cover with cardstock and cute little cutouts and in colors that would match the person's home or their bedroom or the theme of what they loved. And we made it in such a way out of cardstock that you could take it off the box and then just put it back down over the new box, so you could say that it would last until perhaps the little die cuts got bent or maybe somebody spilled on it or something. So it wasn't a temporary thing. Well, what I'm going to show you today, as according to my instructions right here, is I'm using the Scotty's brand or the Essential brand. So I don't know if other square boxes of Kleenex are the same size or different. So just keep in mind that this first one that I'm going to show you is the Scotties or Essential brand with 66 tissues. It's square. So what I've done then is I've taken 12 by 12 paper that I want to use. This is from a year or so ago with Stampin' Up. It really looks like it's woven paper or woven reed. And I think that's why I got it, because I was learning to weave at the time. So you're going to take a 12 by 12 piece of paper and double-sided if you, let me think, does it have to be double-sided? I don't think so, because you're not going to see both sides unless you want both sides to be shown. So the sides for this size box are 5.5 inches high, and 4 3/8 inch wide. So I'm telling you in my instructions here to cut one that's 12 inches by 5 inches. So first I'm going to show you what I had done with the Christmas paper. This is a beautiful poinsettia paper on one side, the green plaid on the other. And this is what I had done. I did this at Christmas, and then I kept it up during Valentine's Day when I have my red and pink towels and such. Now I had this in my bathroom. And so that's what I've done, and I've just peeled it off. So as you can see here, I just hand folded it. You can use a scoring tool if you want. And I bent it around the box. So this is one 12 by 12 goes this far. And then there's another piece that goes around just like this. Now this is ripped because I took it off so I could show you the bare box. So as I say here, cut one 12 by 5 and score it by hand folding it, as I've just shown you, at each 5-inch section, 5 inch, 4 3/8, and then cut a 7 1/4 long by 5 inch so that it can wrap around. So I hope you understand what those measurements mean. The 12-inch paper is not big enough to go around completely. And maybe you have larger paper, maybe you have the 16-inch paper, whatever, maybe you're using a roll of brown paper, or maybe you're even using newspaper as your pattern. So these are the two pieces that I had on this box for Christmas. The other piece that you need is the top. And so that's this piece right here. And you're going to cut it according to this 4 3/8 by 4 3/8, so it's square. If you want the piece of paper that you're cutting for the top to have an overhang here, like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, so that you can tuck it down underneath, you'll have to add that to your 4 3/8 on all sides. But I chose to make it simple. So if you would look at the top of this Kleenex box, you can see that it's about 3/4 inch on these two sides and less than a 1/2 inch, maybe more like 3/8 inch right here on this side. So to get the hole here, you could be very particular and take your square and put a circle or an oval die here. But what I did was I used a grid sheet or a ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 it says, and same here. I found the center. I made a point with my pen actually on the reverse side. Then I cut across like this. And as you can see, I folded back the center. So let me show you how that fits on there then. It goes just like this. And that's how it comes up. Now, before some of you turn me off and say, I don't really want to do that, or why would I want to do that with something temporary? It's because we have the papers to use. Plus, I think, at least in this winter that I've experienced, it's nice to have something that you can update. Now, today's world, you can get many different beautiful designs on Kleenex boxes, so that might be enough for you, and you don't want to be bothered with this. But again, as I tell you, this is another way to use up those large pieces of paper. And at least for me, I'm kind of following in my mother's footsteps. My mother was very good at having an interchangeable candle and candle ring in the center of the table where me and my sisters and father and her ate our evening meal. She also had a couple little other areas in our home that had interchangeable with the season decor, and I think that must be where I get it from, especially in our long winters. Now, I know not everyone has a long winter to experience like we have here in the upper Midwest, but I have two bathrooms. One is completely my bathroom, and one is our general bathroom on the first floor. And I love to have something that I can change with the season that's not too complicated for me to do. So I could have a different cover for my Kleenex box. I have dried all of the flowers from my gardens and will include that in a vase that was my parents' wedding gift. Yes, I am nostalgic too. So I encourage you to take some time, look through your papers, and see what papers you can use to make a square Kleenex box cover. Now, here's what I have done with this paper is I've hand folded, as you can see here in the instructions, I've hand folded each 5-inch section. So I'm going to start like this. I folded it around and I came to this point. And what else I found out from the very first one that I made is the glue dots work really well to attach this. They are just little like this. I don't know, can you see that? Sorry if I was out of the camera there. But it's just a little sticky thing. And you just put it on the top. And you would put one on the bottom. Now, the other thing I like about this, and I don't think I'm contradicting my goal here, is that it really does make it kind of temporary. Let's say you use up this box before you want to change it. Well, then you can just lift it off. Now, let me show you. It's that simple. And probably the Kleenex box isn't going to get used. It isn't, I mean, it's going to be used, but it isn't going to be handled a lot. So I don't think that you need to glue it down or use an excess amount of tear and tape or, you know, any product like that. So I'm just going to continue to put these glue dots here, and I'm going to wrap it around, press it down. Now, I have two more designs to show you that are not on one of these square boxes. So here's the extra piece that I've cut. It's going to attach right here, I believe. And then it's going to go around like that. Doesn't that look like real woven material? And then I did the same thing with the top. I found the center, folded it back, and I'll make that go here. Or you could go the opposite way, and you could decide that you wanted to have this. That's the same with this. You could decide after you get it all cut that Oh, I kind of like this. This is more springy. So that's the initial idea there. Now, this is a wooden, let's see here if I get that a little clearer for you. This is a wooden Kleenex box that I bought at a craft store because initially, before my Cricut, I wanted to have an interchangeable Kleenex box. So what the difference is with the wooden one then is the size, but I've taken some silver metallic and embossed it with my cut and emboss machine and my embossing folders, just to show you all the beautiful different designs you could have with one of these wooden boxes. Now, with the wooden box, I painted it and stenciled on one side, and it was my intention from the very beginning that I was going to use the beautiful designer series paper from Stampin' Up and put something here that I could change periodically. I wouldn't put maybe all 3 of these on here at once, but I just wanted to show you how much this catches the light. I'm just a lover of metallic. So this is a little different in size, but the procedure would be the same. You would measure the side and the height, and you would be able to cut, let's see, you could cut 3, but the 4th side I want to explain to you is a little different. That includes this slide out piece so that when your Kleenex box is in there and you lift this up, it doesn't come shooting out the bottom. So this is the same size as the other sides. But once you cut it, you have to be aware that you have to cut a little piece here for this slide out. The other thing I had initially done, which is not really part of this demonstration, is I had covered each side with a white layer, and I put a Velcro piece on each corner on each side so that if I had fabric or even this designer series paper that I wanted to use again, I could also put the reverse side of the Velcro here and then just attach it like this so I could easily take it off. Anyway, that's just an idea. Now I just can't wait to show you what I've done with the copper paper that's coming out, I believe, on March 3rd. Now the copper paper that I'm going to show you is part of the regular, I don't know what if you want to say, but it's already listed as a product online. But there's some other project that I have done, which I will show you at a later time. It's not part of this video, that I have used to do more home decor. Now, it's kind of hard to show this on the video, but this is a long Kleenex box that I made with the copper paper. And isn't it hard to believe that it really is paper? What I've done is I've used a floral embossing folder, and I've embossed this strips of paper to put on this large Kleenex box. And to me, this is not something that I would change very often. I again used some glue dots to attach it, so when this Kleenex box is empty, I can take it off and I could put it on another one. So let me show you how to put it together for this long box. And I know there's also another box of Kleenex that's very much higher, but you can use the same concept to do that kind of box. So this instructions here is for the square box, but it's basically the same. You want to measure the length and the height, and then you want to either score on a scoreboard or you want to fold with your hands the pieces. So here's the long box instructions. And again, here's how it looks. Now you can see a little of the box showing through. I guess I must have cut that a little too short. Same here. But the colors of this Kleenex box without this metallic cover actually in brown and green actually I think goes with the design or the colors of this copper. Now you could do this in silver, you could do it in gold, any color of metallic that goes with your theme. And so on this one, it says to cut two that are 3.5 inch high, that's here, the height here, and 8 3/4 long, and that's just one side here. I didn't give measurements for the side because with a 12 by 12 piece of paper, you don't have to cut a separate piece. Now I have the little glue dots on there. So see, it's just like this. It's start on this end, put it on, you get to there, then you take your next piece, so you're cutting two that are 3.5 by 8 3/4. You take your next piece, let's see, I must have went like this, and you come around like this, and I must have had another piece right here. I'm sorry, I don't have that right in front of me. So how you would do the top then is you could take an entirely separate piece as you see here, or you could take these strips, you could put one there, then you have this left over here, and you could put one here, again, another piece left over, and you could just piece it here to by using these two pieces on these two ends. Now that might not be the way you would want to do it, but for sure, when you are making this long Kleenex box, I would say make sure you have at least 2, if not 3 pieces of the designer series paper or the 12 by 12 paper that you're going to use to cover all these angles, okay? And so what I've done on the top of this one then, the metallic, is I did not emboss it. You can see it's smooth, and then this again. What I did do once I embossed these strips is I took a pecan pie, which is brown, ink, and I inked the edges so that the white inner core of the paper is not visible. Plus, I don't know if you can see this here, but some of the flowers are so deep in the embossing that the white of the inner core of the paper broke through. So I took the pecan pie ink there and I covered it just a little. I love this so much. It catches the light. This Kleenex box that I have in a certain spot in my home doesn't get used very often. So I'm really happy to think that this is going to be the copper Kleenex box like this for some time. Now, I also did some more home decor with the coordinating papers that are coming out on March 3rd. There you get 6 pieces, 2 of each piece, 12 by 12, one-sided. One-sided is the specialty paper by Stampin' Up. I might have to get some more of it when I show you on a separate video what I've done with the coordinating floral copper paper. So I hope that you would look at your papers always to see what else can you make with it. Can you make some baskets for Easter coming up? Can you cover a Kleenex box and just dress up your area just a little more? I'm a card maker at heart, but I love paper. and I love ink. So thanks for watching me today. I'd always love to know if you've been inspired by any of my projects, and I encourage you, go get creative. Bye for now.